Before I get into the story, I have to give a huge shout out to True Royal Family because she stayed on top of this particular story from the time the news broke all the way up to what seems to be probably one of the last times she'll speak about this topic. Or, as a matter of fact, not the last time, but she'll continue to talk about it. But she stayed on top of this case from beginning to the end. Now, what I like about when it comes to black YouTubers, especially the ones that I communicate with, is we all have a certain topic that we like to discuss over time, and we don't like to let it just simply die, especially when it comes to so many stories. True Family stayed on this particular case. Lisa Cabrera stays on the heroin opioid cases. Nicole's view stays on top of the Cosby trial, and myself, well, me, I'm kind of sometimes I can feel like I'm all over the place. But if you had to pigeonhole me into certain topics, it would definitely be the opioid plague one, and now these school shootings. But I have to like really commend her for doing this because it wasn't easy, and the fact that she actually reached out to Jazzy Rowe, who is the individual who is the victim of this entire ordeal, and they actually communicated. That means that she was very serious about this topic, and it meant something. It meant a great deal to her. It was almost like that was the daughter that she never had. So in that aspect, I hope that True Royal Family is listening to this video, as I commend her for really staying true to this topic. Now on to the topic itself at hand. In case you haven't heard, Brianna Brochu or Brochu, who is the individual in this picture right here, who looks like a Shrek imposter, will not be serving any jail time for the crime she committed against her former roommate, Jazzy Rowe. When we first heard about this story, all I could say was this chick here is absolutely disgusting. It's disturbing. It's very degenerate behavior, but none of that is surprising nor shocking. And as much as we had wanted her to go to jail or serve some time for the crime she committed, and they brought up hate crime charges against her, I knew once they fought to get those hate crime charges against her removed, which they did early on. That was their first mission, and they accomplished it. I knew right then and there that really nothing was going to come out of this. I knew she would either walk away altogether. Sorry, I had to pause it right quick. Somebody had walked in. But back to what I was saying. I knew she was either going to walk away from this altogether or she was going to get a slap on the wrist. And she got the latter. She got a slap on the wrist. According to True Royal Family, all she got was 200 hours of community service and probation. That's it. This chick poisoned her former roommate to the point where she was having health issues and she could have died if she didn't act fast enough. She even went as far as to send text messages to people bragging about what she did and showing pictures of what she used and where she put it at. I mean, putting her toothbrush in her ass crack, smearing period blood on her book bag, tainting her coconut oil and possibly her food, and then calling her the Jamaican Barbie. I remember all of that. It's kind of hard to pull let all of that just kind of slip your brain, even though this story came out back in November, and a lot of stuff has happened since then, like a lot of stuff. But there's certain things you just don't forget. This being one of them. So apparently the court and the judge felt that sending her to jail would have been too harsh because, they got to think of her future. After all, she is 18, allegedly, but she doesn't look like any 18-year-old I know, appearance-wise. So while she's been kicked out of that school, she will be able to transition through life as usual. And then they're going to probably try to find a way to make it seem like she's the victim, which, by the way, they did. They tried to throw her into the victim role. Almost like what she did was just not of her character. Listen, when you do all of what this person, all of what she did, there's no way in hell that they could ever be a victim, ever. So she may have walked away from this one so ever so slightly, and I said it because she didn't completely get let off the hook, but she might as well have. Something is going to be coming around the corner for her. I'm not going to say it on here, but y'all can pretty much spell it out. And I believe that Jazzy Rowe was on the last day of the trial or the case. She was actually in the courtroom, so she had to come face to face with her for the first time since this incident. She did all of that just to get rid of her roommate. Instead of her just saying, "Oh, I don't think this is going to work out. Is there a way that we can have a way where we can go our separate ways and have new roommates?" Instead of asking like that and being an adult, she had to sabotage her things and do underhanded crap to get rid of her. Not thinking about her well-being. All she thought about was getting rid of the quote-unquote Jamaican Barbie, one way or another. She didn't care about her well-being. She didn't care about her health, clearly. Clearly because she bragged about it. She laughed about it in text messages. She thought it was funny. We'll see how funny it is if someone gets hands on this chick. Then we'll find out who's laughing last. Y'all let me know what you think down in the comments.